This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there, Jeff Curtis. I'm welcoming you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, November the 7th, 2021, Magic Johnson did something that shocked a lot of people. And it happened 30 years ago in 1991 on this day. He said he was HIV positive. Magic Johnson was a legendary player, especially for Michigan State, helping them win the 1979 NCAA title, and then subsequently being picked by the Lakers in the draft. Magic was a beacon of light from his first game on. Magic even played center in Game 6 of the 1980 finals against Philadelphia when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar couldn't play because of injury. And he shone with a 42-point effort, and he was named Finals MVP. He helped the Lakers win many more titles in the 1980s. The Lakers just got off a 5-game finals loss to the Chicago Bulls, and people were like, well, what are you going to do now? Well, I'm not going to Disney World. So anyway, after a physical before starting the 91 season, Johnson discovered he was tested positive for HIV. So he decided to make a press conference, which CNN did live. He would have to retire immediately from the Lakers because of the HIV virus. I don't have AIDS, and my wife is fine. Our child is fine. So he basically stated that his wife and unborn child did not have HIV, and he would dedicate his life to battle this disease. Johnson didn't know how he contracted the disease. However, he did acknowledge that he had sexual partners, lots of partners before Cookie. And he had to talk openly about sexual activities because he was convinced that heterosexuals need to know that they too are at risk. Because obviously the whole 1980s AIDS pandemic about gay sex and all that. And the gay community was really hated on. There were rumors that Johnson was gay or bisexual, but he denied both. It was a major news story in the United States. Many articles praised Johnson as a hero, and George Bush Sr. said that, for me, Magic is a hero for anyone who loves sports. Despite his retirement, Magic was still part of the 92 All-Star game in Orlando. But Magic surprised everyone by putting up a good 25-point effort in the All-Star game. And he even went to the Dream Team, under the Dream Team for the Olympics. Magic didn't play a lot of minutes at the Olympics, but they still won the gold medal. Magic wanted to have a comeback, but there were a lot of opposition from several players. So anyway, there was a lot of concerns. But for Magic, he was dedicating his life to deal with HIV issues and the stigma of misinformation. Magic even became a coach for a few games. And, well, Magic was 5-11 as a head coach. So he tried in 96 to come back to the Lakers. And he did. He spent some time. I think he played in Toronto one time, didn't he? Regardless, Magic decides to retire after the 96 season. So he did pretty well for himself. He played in a few other leagues and all that. So he had a giant legacy and all that. So anyway, so Magic Johnson did the right thing and all that. He wanted to fix things with HIV activism. So he created the Magic Johnson Foundation to combat HIV and joined the National Commission on AIDS. And Magic did leave that commission because he said that the White House ignored the work of the panel and opposed the commission's recommendations for universal health care and Medicaid to cover all low-income people with AIDS. So, of course, HIV was always a condition with drug users and homosexuals. But with Magic, his HIV positive thing thought that infection was not limited to those groups and to destroy the discrimination and all that. Johnson does take a daily combination of drugs to prevent his HIV infection from progressing to AIDS. So he did well. And there was even a South Park episode to deal with the fact that Cartman and Kyle both had AIDS, and then they learned Magic suppresses AIDS, but with money and all that. But yeah, it was kind of funny, but I don't think it was that funny. Anyway, Magic Johnson did the right thing by coming out, which being HIV positive, which tries to prevent stigma from happening. And I'm proud of him for that. And people should too. You don't know what the misinformation spread was like in the 1980s, unless you lived in the 1980s. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adu.